What if humanity's next home already waits silently beyond Earth tonight? Mars appears lifeless now, yet scientists believe hidden possibilities still exist there. One dangerous mission could completely change humanity's future forever across distant space. Earth grows crowded daily while resources slowly disappear beneath growing human populations worldwide. Meanwhile, Mars continues orbiting quietly like an untouched world awaiting brave explorers. For decades, humanity imagined building cities beneath glowing Martian skies, filled with hope. Movies inspired impossible dreams, but modern technology suddenly transformed fantasies into realistic missions. Powerful rockets now travel farther, faster, and safer than previous generations ever imagined. Billionaire innovators compete aggressively, while governments secretly prepare ambitious interplanetary survival strategies today. Mars colonization no longer sounds impossible because real missions already approach rapidly worldwide. Scientists believe humans could possibly land permanently on Mars within upcoming decades soon. However, surviving there requires overcoming terrifying challenges never experienced anywhere on Earth before. Mars remains brutally cold with deadly radiation, constantly attacking everything exposed outside protective shelters. One unprotected human breath immediately becomes fatal beneath Mars' thin, poisonous atmosphere instantly. Dust storms there can swallow entire regions while lasting continuously for several terrifying months. Even simple activities become dangerous when gravity weakens human muscles and internal body systems. Yet humanity always chased impossible dreams despite overwhelming risks and catastrophic historical failures repeatedly. Ancient explorers crossed deadly oceans without knowing whether survival remained remotely possible beyond horizons. Today's astronauts represent modern explorers preparing similarly dangerous journeys toward another distant planetary frontier. The difference now involves carrying humanity's future survival alongside every dangerous decision made carefully. Some experts believe Mars colonization protects humanity against extinction-level disasters threatening Earth someday unexpectedly. Asteroids, climate disasters, pandemics, and nuclear conflicts continuously remind humanity about civilization's terrifying fragility. Creating another human civilization elsewhere could become humanity's ultimate survival backup plan, someday potentially. That single possibility motivates billions towards supporting risky missions, despite unbelievable financial costs involved. Surprisingly, many young people already dream about becoming Mars colonists during future space programs. They imagine futuristic cities surrounded by glowing domes beneath breathtaking red alien landscapes every morning. But reality appears far harsher than romantic science fiction stories usually portray on-screen dramatically. Mars receives freezing temperatures capable of destroying exposed human skin within dangerous moments immediately. Water barely exists openly there because most remains trapped beneath frozen underground Martian layers. Food production also becomes extremely difficult without breathable air, fertile soil, or natural ecosystems. Every survival necessity must initially arrive directly from Earth using expensive rocket transportation systems. Imagine depending entirely upon fragile supply ships traveling millions of dangerous space kilometers constantly. One serious communication delay could leave colonists completely isolated during unexpected emergencies on Mars. Messages between Earth and Mars sometimes require 20 painful minutes before arriving successfully anywhere. Emergency rescue missions would become impossible because astronauts remain terrifyingly far from Earth always. Colonists must solve problems independently, while surviving psychologically exhausting isolation for many difficult years. Scientists already study how loneliness changes human minds during long-duration experimental isolation missions worldwide. Surprisingly, mental pressure sometimes becomes deadlier than physical dangers during extended survival missions anywhere. Human brains evolved around Earth's nature, oceans, sunlight, weather, and constant social interaction naturally. Mars offers none of those comforting experiences humanity unconsciously depends upon emotionally every single day. Still, many astronauts willingly accept these terrifying risks because curiosity drives humanity powerfully forward. Exploration remains deeply connected with human identity since civilization's earliest historical beginnings thousands ago. Every generation pushes boundaries farther while discovering opportunities previous civilizations considered completely impossible before. Landing humans permanently on Mars could become history's greatest achievement beyond Earth exploration itself. It would prove humanity can survive beyond one fragile planet. Mars's air contains almost no oxygen, making breathing impossible without life support systems. Instead, it is mostly carbon dioxide, silently lethal to unprotected human lungs. Any exposed human would lose consciousness within seconds on the Martian surface. This means survival depends entirely on sealed habitats and advanced engineering systems. Even inside shelters, maintaining breathable air requires constant recycling and energy. Every breath taken must be artificially produced and carefully monitored continuously. Nothing on Mars supports human life naturally, not even basic biological balance. Another major threat is radiation constantly bombarding the planet's thin atmosphere. This exposes colonists to dangerous cosmic rays that damage DNA over time. Long-term exposure increases risks of cancer, organ failure, and neurological disorders. Scientists are designing underground bases to shield humans from radiation exposure. Living beneath Martian soil might become essential for long-term survival there. But digging and building underground habitats requires massive energy and advanced machinery. Transporting that equipment from Earth adds enormous cost and logistical complexity. Another challenge comes from extreme temperature variations across the Martian surface daily. Temperatures can drop below -100 degrees Celsius during freezing nights. Even daytime warmth remains too cold for unprotected human survival anywhere outside. This constant freezing environment demands highly insulated and energy-efficient living structures. Heating systems must run non-stop to keep habitats livable for humans inside. Power failures in such conditions could become instantly life-threatening emergencies for colonists. Dust storms present another terrifying obstacle for human settlement on Mars. These storms can cover the entire planet and last for months. Thick dust blocks sunlight, reducing solar power efficiency drastically during storms. Without energy, life support systems risk shutting down at the worst possible moments. Dust particles also damage machinery, solar panels, and sensitive scientific equipment quickly. Engineers must therefore design protective systems to survive frequent planetary storms safely. Another challenge is water scarcity, one of the most critical survival needs. While ice exists underground, extracting and purifying it requires advanced technology. Every drop of water must be recycled with near-perfect efficiency constantly. Human sweat, urine, and waste must be fully processed and reused carefully. Nothing can be wasted when survival depends on closed-loop life support systems. Food production creates yet another serious obstacle for long-term Martian living. Soil on Mars contains toxic chemicals harmful to plant growth and human health. Scientists must create artificial farming systems like hydroponics or aeroponics indoors. These systems rely heavily on controlled environments powered by continuous energy supply. Growing enough food for large colonies remains a major unresolved challenge. Transporting food from Earth is expensive and unsustainable for long missions. Psychological challenges also become severe during extended isolation on Mars. Humans are social beings, dependent on interaction, community, and emotional connection. On Mars, colonists may experience loneliness unlike anything previously known. Confined environments and limited human contact can lead to mental health issues. Depression, anxiety, and stress could become common among early settlers. Communication delays with Earth worsen emotional isolation significantly over time. Even simple conversations with family would feel disconnected and frustratingly slow. Emergency support from Earth would always arrive too late to help directly. Colonists must therefore become mentally resilient and emotionally self-sufficient always. Leadership structures on Mars will also face unique governance challenges. Who makes decisions in emergencies far from Earth-based authority systems? Independence may become necessary, creating entirely new forms of human governance. Conflicts over resources could easily arise in such limited survival environments. Cooperation will be essential, but human nature often struggles under pressure. Technology failures present another constant danger in hostile Martian conditions. Even small system malfunctions could escalate into catastrophic survival threats quickly. Redundancy systems must therefore be built into every essential life support structure. Engineers must anticipate failures that have never been experienced on Earth. Every system must operate flawlessly in an environment actively trying to destroy it. Despite all these challenges, scientists continue pushing. Humanity may survive Mars only through revolutionary technology beyond current imagination. The first breakthrough needed is advanced life support systems for closed habitats. These systems must recycle air, water, and waste with near-perfect efficiency. Artificial ecosystems could simulate Earth-like environments inside sealed Martian domes. Scientists are already testing bioregenerative life support models in space simulations. Plants play a critical role in producing oxygen for future colonies. Greenhouses on Mars may use LED lighting instead of natural sunlight. Hydroponic farming allows crops to grow without traditional soil systems. This method could solve food shortages in isolated Martian settlements. Genetic engineering might create crops resistant to radiation and extreme cold. Such innovations could transform barren Martian soil into usable agricultural environments. However, large-scale food production still requires stable energy sources continuously. Solar power becomes weaker on Mars due to distance from the Sun. Dust storms further reduce solar panel efficiency during critical survival periods. Therefore, nuclear energy is considered a strong alternative power source. Compact nuclear reactors could provide consistent electricity for entire colonies. This energy would support heating, farming, and life support systems simultaneously. Another key technology involves extracting water from underground Martian ice deposits. Robots may drill deep beneath the surface to access frozen water reserves. That water must then be purified and distributed across living habitats. Oxygen production systems can split water molecules into breathable oxygen gas. This process could gradually build a self-sustaining atmospheric system inside colonies. Scientists also explore terraforming concepts to make Mars more Earth-like. Terraforming means changing an entire planet's climate and atmosphere artificially. However, this process could take hundreds or even thousands of years. It remains one of the most ambitious scientific ideas ever proposed. Robotics will play a massive role in early Mars colonization efforts. Autonomous machines could build habitats before humans even arrive. These robots would construct shelters, roads, and power systems independently. Artificial intelligence could manage daily operations of early Martian bases. AI systems may monitor oxygen levels, temperature, and radiation constantly. This reduces human workload and increases survival efficiency dramatically. Communication satellites will be essential for connecting Mars and Earth. These satellites must maintain constant data transmission across vast distances. Delayed communication still remains a challenge despite advanced technology systems. Spacecraft design is also evolving rapidly for safer interplanetary travel. New propulsion systems could reduce travel time between Earth and Mars. Faster journeys would lower radiation exposure for astronauts significantly. Shielded spacecraft walls protect crews from harmful cosmic radiation effects. Sleep chambers may help astronauts survive long journeys in reduced activity states. Medical technology must also adapt for Mars colonization survival conditions. Doctors may rely heavily on AI-assisted diagnostics during emergencies. Limited medical supplies require advanced 3D printing of essential medicines. Bioprinters could create tissues or even organs in extreme situations. This innovation might save lives when Earth-based support is unavailable. Psychological support systems will be equally important for colonists' well-being. Virtual reality could simulate Earth environments to reduce isolation stress. Communication with loved ones may use immersive holographic technologies. Social structures will depend heavily on technology-driven interaction systems. Education on Mars could be fully digital and AI-assisted for children. Entire generations may grow up learning in virtual classrooms inside domes. Transportation across Mars will require specialized pressurized rover vehicles. These rovers must protect humans from radiation and extreme weather conditions. Spacesuits are also evolving into lightweight, flexible survival systems. Future suits may include built-in oxygen recycling and climate control systems. Every piece of technology must function flawlessly in hostile environments. Even small failures could threaten entire colony survival systems instantly. That is why redundancy and backup systems are absolutely essential everywhere. Innovation continues accelerating as humanity prepares for interplanetary expansion. Each technological breakthrough brings Mars colonization closer to reality daily. Still, technology alone is not enough to guarantee human survival there. Human adaptability remains just as important as engineering advancements overall. The future of Mars depends on both machines and human resilience together. Only by combining. Imagine waking up under a red sky inside a glass dome city. Life on Mars would feel both familiar and completely alien at once. Early colonies would likely begin as small, tightly controlled scientific settlements. Every structure would be sealed, pressurized, and carefully monitored for survival. Outside those walls lies a silent, dangerous, and frozen Martian wasteland. Inside, humans would try to recreate Earth-like comfort and normalcy. Artificial lighting would replace natural sunlight in most daily environments. Daily routines would be strictly scheduled for efficiency and resource management. Every drop of water would be tracked, recycled, and reused constantly. Even breathing air would be a carefully managed shared resource system. Families on Mars would likely live in compact, highly efficient living modules. Privacy might become limited due to space constraints in early settlements. Community cooperation would be essential for survival in such isolated environments. Work assignments would focus on maintenance, farming, engineering, and research tasks. Every citizen would play a direct role in colony survival systems. Children born on Mars would grow up knowing only controlled environments. Their understanding of Earth would come mainly from digital archives and stories. They might view Earth as a distant, almost mythical ancestral home. Education would focus heavily on science, engineering, and survival skills. Emotional resilience training might be part of daily psychological preparation. Entertainment would be fully digital, immersive, and heavily dependent on virtual reality. Social gatherings might take place in shared simulated environments. Outdoor experiences would be rare and extremely carefully controlled. Occasionally, astronauts might step outside in advanced protective spacesuits. Those moments would feel like stepping into another hostile planet entirely. Mars cities could eventually expand into underground tunnel networks. Subsurface habitats would protect humans from radiation and temperature extremes. Over time, these networks could grow into vast, interconnected civilizations. Agriculture would take place inside large artificial greenhouse complexes. Crops would be grown under carefully optimized light and nutrient systems. Food variety might initially be limited, but gradually expand with innovation. Scientists could develop synthetic food production for efficiency and sustainability. Social structures might evolve differently due to limited population sizes. Leadership systems may rely on scientific expertise rather than political tradition. Decision-making could become more centralized in emergency survival councils. Laws on Mars would likely prioritize survival and resource management. Conflicts over resources would need strict regulation and mediation systems. Energy consumption would be tightly controlled across all colony operations. Every device would be designed for maximum efficiency and durability. Waste management would be critical in maintaining livable environments. Recycling would become not just important, but absolutely essential for survival. Transportation inside colonies would likely use small electric rover systems. Long-distance travel might involve pressurized tunnels or transport capsules. Communication with Earth would remain delayed but emotionally significant. Colonists would eagerly await updates from family and planetary events. Holidays might be adapted to reflect Martian seasonal cycles. Time itself would feel slightly different due to longer Martian days. A Martian day lasts about 24 hours and 39 minutes on average. This small difference would slowly reshape human daily biological rhythms. Over generations, humans might fully adapt to Martian environmental cycles. Cultural identity on Mars could eventually become distinct from Earth culture. New traditions, languages, and customs might naturally emerge over time. Artistic expression could reflect the harsh yet beautiful alien landscape. Music, art, and storytelling might focus heavily on survival and exploration. Religion or philosophy might evolve around themes of space and resilience. Children might dream not of Earth cities, but of expanding Mars itself. Exploration beyond colonies could gradually become more routine and safe. Mining operations might extract valuable resources from beneath Martian soil. Scientific discovery would remain a constant driving force for expansion. Humanity might slowly transform into a multiplanetary civilization. Mars would no longer feel like a distant outpost, but a second home, yet survival would always depend on fragile technology and cooperation. One small failure could still threaten entire communities at any moment. Life on Mars would be both humanity's greatest achievement and challenge. And still, the ultimate question remains whether it can truly last. Humanity now stands at the edge of becoming a multiplanetary species. Mars colonization is no longer fantasy but an approaching scientific reality. Yet survival there remains uncertain despite decades of research and planning. The biggest question is whether humans can sustain life independently on Mars. Short-term survival seems possible with advanced technology and constant Earth support. Long-term independence, however, demands solving far more complex survival challenges. Resource production must become fully self-sufficient without Earth's continuous assistance. That includes food, water, energy, medicine, and infrastructure maintenance systems. Even one failed supply chain could endanger entire Martian populations instantly. Therefore, resilience becomes the core principle of every future Mars settlement. Scientists believe gradual expansion is the safest path toward permanent colonization. Small experimental bases may evolve into larger, stable communities over time. Each successful mission builds confidence for more ambitious future settlements. Eventually, Mars could host thousands or even millions of human residents. But this depends heavily on continuous technological breakthroughs and discoveries. Artificial intelligence will likely manage much of Mars' essential infrastructure systems. Robotics will handle dangerous tasks outside human living environments efficiently. Humans will focus more on planning, research, and governance activities. Over time, Mars settlements may become increasingly autonomous from Earth control. That independence could mark a major turning point in human history. Some scientists believe Mars could even develop its own civilization identity. Cultural evolution might separate Martian society from Earth-based human traditions. Language, customs, and values could slowly adapt to alien environmental conditions. This raises philosophical questions about what it means to be human. Are Martian-born humans still Earthlings, or something entirely new? Ethical concerns also arise about reproduction and life in extreme environments. Should children be born in places not naturally suited for survival? These debates will shape future space policy and colonization decisions. Meanwhile, Mars continues to challenge every scientific assumption we currently hold. Even basic survival remains extremely difficult without constant technological support. Radiation, isolation, and environmental instability remain persistent existential threats. No single solution currently guarantees permanent human safety on Mars. However, incremental progress continues pushing boundaries of what is possible. Space agencies around the world collaborate more than ever before. Private companies also accelerate innovation with ambitious interplanetary missions. This combined effort increases the likelihood of successful colonization significantly. Still, financial, political, and technical challenges remain extremely large obstacles. Mars colonization requires long-term global commitment beyond short-term interests. Humanity must think across generations rather than immediate decades alone. Success will depend on patience, cooperation, and scientific discipline worldwide. If achieved, Mars could serve as humanity's backup civilization system. It would protect life from extinction-level disasters affecting Earth unexpectedly. That alone makes Mars exploration one of humanity's most important missions. Yet some experts warn about overestimating our readiness for such expansion. They argue Earth itself still requires urgent care and restoration efforts. Balancing Earth's survival with Mars exploration remains a critical global challenge. Perhaps Mars should be seen as expansion, not escape from responsibility. Humanity must carry lessons from Earth rather than repeat its mistakes elsewhere. Only then can a sustainable interplanetary civilization truly succeed long-term. The dream of Mars colonization reflects humanity's deepest desire to survive. It also represents curiosity, ambition, and the urge to explore the unknown. Whether humans can live on Mars depends on both science and wisdom. Technology may build habitats, but humanity must build sustainable behavior. The red planet is waiting silently, neither welcoming nor rejecting us. It simply challenges us to prove our capability to adapt and endure. Future generations will decide whether Mars becomes home or remains distant. That decision will define humanity's place in the universe forever. For now, Mars colonization remains a bold experiment in survival. Success is possible, but never guaranteed in such extreme conditions. The journey itself may matter more than the destination reached, because in trying to reach Mars, humanity discovers its true potential. Every step forward expands what humans believe is scientifically possible. Mars may not just be a new world, but a new beginning, and the final answer depends on what humanity chooses to become. The future